Hello, and thank you for joining today. My name is Rick Marr. I am the CEO and visionary of Turning Point Human Capital Management. Turning Point Human Capital Management, we have one mission, and that's to release the pressure valve that builds in business owners when day-to-day HR issues pop up. So we've been in business. I started this business in 2010. And since 2010, we've worked with over 2,500 businesses across the country. And all 2,500 of those businesses look exactly the same. They are first or second generation family, founder led types of businesses with a couple of handfuls to a couple of hundred employees. And, we're national, so we've worked in 49 of the 50 United States. We're pretty much industry agnostic. We've worked in over 65 different industries, so there's nothing really that we can't do. And so those businesses, they all kind of have, and we'll go through this a little bit in a few moments through the presentation, kind of the same four buckets of problems, if you will. So think about these four buckets, just the headlines: compliance issues, employee issues, policies and procedure issues, and then strategic or organizational development issues, right people on the team kind of stuff. So we'll go through this and think about from a business owner's perspective, how they turned HR from a headache, right? Something they had to deal with every day into really a growth engine. And to highlight that, think if you could take all of your team members, all the employees, and give them a letter grade, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? E, F, right? No G. And you can move every single one of them up one full letter grade. What would that do for your business, right? And that's kind of the context to think about that. So my intention is to take the next 12 to 15 minutes, go through this and give you a basis for how this could potentially help your business. So the common HR struggle for business owners like yourselves, right? So wearing multiple hats, the employees are wearing multiple hats, you're wearing multiple hats, right? There's this compliance overload, right? So every day there's some new law, rule, or regulation that's designed to drive you crazy, right? Whether it's federal, state, or and sometimes even local things. So the Department of Labor, all those kinds of things. The third is kind of employee problems that just pop up, right? Those day-to-day things that knock you off your game, that distract the employees, and really create a detour from the company's mission, right? So think about those everyday things. We know what they are. Someone didn't call in, someone didn't arrive on time, someone didn't clock in, two people can't get along, whatever it might be. The fourth one are policy issues, right? So having proper policies and procedures is not only sound, but really what it does is it starts to set the rules for the employees. It sets the guidelines, helps them understand what they're there to do and what they're there not to do, right? So again, knocking the leader off of their game every day. And then finally, and the kind of a little more personal for a lot of business owners is that lost time and overall stress, right? We all started our business for a reason. And the reason probably wasn't to work harder, work longer, and be more nervous and stressed out about things. It was probably the opposite of all those things. So quality HR, right, kind of takes these five types of problems, these buckets, if you will, and starts to move them down the line. So they go from a headache to really a growth center. And that's what this is all about. So what's the real cost of HR chaos, right? So think about it. Look, these are natural things: lost money, time wasted, employee turnover, legal risk. But the big one that I kind of talk to a lot of our clients and our business owners with is freedom, right? And as a business owner myself, this is the most important thing to me in every aspect of my business. As I kind of referenced in the last slide, right? We didn't get into business to be more chained to our desk and more stressed out and all those kinds of things. It was really about our freedom, right? And if you have employees in your business, right, they can either help you gain that freedom if the HR is really good and the policies and procedures, or they could take that freedom away when things are not in the way that they're supposed to be, right? They're not kind of everything is a fire, everything is a kind of situational this game time decision, if you will. So HR strategies can reflect the business goals and really the owner's goals and kind of drive towards that freedom thing, right? And not only that, but then there really are tried and true best practices that can not only drive the freedom towards the business owner, but help on those other things, the lost money, the legal risks, et cetera, employee turnover, and all those sorts of things. So, we believe, right? We believe that there's a smarter way to handle or to work with your most expensive capital in your business, right? It's almost always the human capital, salaries, benefits, time off, right? All those sorts of things, right? So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of expertise. We've done this over 2,500 different times, right? Our average team member, just so kind of practicing what we preach, our average team member and all our team are W-2s, US based. They all have various levels of credentials, including PHRs, SPHRs. Half of them have their masters, a couple of them have their doctorates, and a couple of them have their Juris Doctorates. The average team with the company is almost 8 years, right? And it's because of the things that we're talking about creates that longevity and really takes those everyone's grade level A, B, C, D, E, F. We don't have any Fs, but moves them up a grade, right? And that's what it's meant to do. So our system is the right resource, right? And I kind of touch on that with the team members and their credentials. We think about the right price, right? So for small businesses, fractional HR is the perfect answer, right? There could be on-demand projects, various levels. Each client has its own cadence, if you will. And then the right amount of time, right? So our clients determine the control and the budget, right? So there's transparency and reporting and project planning and all the things that take things off your plate and know that they're getting done rather than putting them on your plate and just another ball in the air to juggle. And then the right seat, right? So we talk about this all the time. If you have the right salesperson in the right seat, your business is killing it. If you have the wrong salesperson in the wrong seat, it's hurting, right? Same thing with HR. Now, HR handles all of the seats, right? Manages all of those things and can take that off your plate. So we really think about expertise, right resource, right price, right time, and the right seat, right, to kind of put a bow on it. So that's just the smarter way for businesses to get at this thing. So it's kind of the real result, right, is that different clients of ours have talked about growth mindset, right, versus reactionary, right, and what that means and how that really works in a business, and then really empowering employees, right? So we have a saying in our business that every business problem has a first and last name, right? Think about that. Every business problem, you could probably tie someone's name to it. But here's the amazing thing, right? When HR is done right, every business solution also has a first and last name. So it's this really great thing, and how we could drive results because of that kind of thinking and what HR can do for a business. So really think about turning HR into a strategic advantage, right? And this is what I was talking about. Every business problem has a first and last name, right? HR is more than compliance, right? It manages the most expensive asset in a business, the human capital, right? It helps to mitigate any risk, right? If you've ever had a Department of Labor letter or some sort of action, you know that risk is costly in more ways than can be imagined. Third is the culture, right? So think about the letter grade improvement, right? How do you get people who are high company values and high performing, right? If you can have that, right? If you think about an XY axis, high company value, XY high company values, low company values. On the other axis, low performing, high performing, right? Low performing, low company values, that's easy. You get rid of that person, right? Um, the high performing, high company values, those are your rock stars. How do you get more of those, right? And then you really want to say, how do you get people who are high company values, but maybe just need a little leg up to get from the lower performing to the higher performing, that grade level up? That can change a business. And then fourth is that legacy, your legacy, right? As a business owner, we probably did this for multiple reasons, right? And there's lots of different reasons we started a business. but all of them kind of drive back to some sort of legacy, reputation. You want to pass it on to the family, you want to create generational wealth, whatever it is, there's some level of legacy there. HR, when the business is running smoothly, can help further that business owner's legacy dreams, right? So good stuff. So what do we offer, right? So, kind of I'll just go through the headlines. Compliance management, employee issues, right? Policies and procedures, you could see those, training, and then, on-demand HR is how we deliver it, and it's all ties down to the right resource, right price, and the right amount of time. So these are the services, these are the some of the things. There's a lot more. I could have listed a lot more, but these are some of the things that we're doing for our business leaders. So, how it works, right? It's simple and it's customized for your business, right? Step one is we do a risk assessment. Step two is we take that and we tailor a plan designed specifically for your business. And then we assign one of our team members to be your HR person, and they execute the plan. They're the person you talk to every day or when you need to, and they're the ones that's making sure all of the things that you need from an HR management perspective are being executed. So thank you. That's really the presentation there. And then just a couple of frequently asked questions that business owners always ask. How quickly can we start? So we're made to react, right? Our business is built that way. Usually within a couple of days, 2 or 3 days of indicating you want to get started, we're already doing the onboarding meeting, which is a full process, right? The second question is, can you work with our current HR payroll systems? The answer is yes. We do not sell our own payroll. We are um, we are system agnostic, and we process about 85% of our clients' payrolls, and that crosses all different kinds of payroll providers. What industries do you specialize in? So the answer is we've worked in over 65 different industries. So pretty much any industry we can work in because the employees are the employees, right? Regardless of the industry. The laws are typically the laws. I mean, there's a couple of small exceptions, but and so how you manage that is basically the same in every industry. So we can basically work in every single industry. And then how much does this cost? So on our website, turningpointhcm.com, all of our pricing is right on our website. So depending on what you want, what kind of package you want, all our pricing is on turningpointhcm.com. I encourage you to go look at it. But it can go from, just doing a small project for a couple of $100 to true fractional HR management. So, and what we have a little joke internally that as long as it's not illegal, unethical, or immoral, and it's under the HR umbrella, we'll handle it. So I thank you for listening. If you'd like to chat, there's my email right there. Just reach out. We can get on a call. I can walk you through things, give you a little specialized tour. And if it's something you think we can help, great. And we can go from there. So thank you for listening and have a great day.